Hi and welcome everyone to our 28th episode of The Little Inside. My name is still Tobi, and this week we are going to have a look at the disadvantages of living for the future. We get started right after the intro. Many of us hear it first when we are young, when we are told one of the old fairy tales, and then the end of that fairy tale very often is, and they were happy ever after. And then we are looking for that our entire life. So we're looking for this happy ever after moment, and we are struggling often very hard so that we deserve our holidays, so that we get a nice retirement when we're older. So basically we're living our entire life very often only for the future, hoping that tomorrow will be better than today, hoping that next week, next year will finally bring the results that we were waiting for. And while we are living like this, day by day, year by year, we are missing out on the most important thing that we actually have, which is this moment. It's life. And we are, in a way, you can say, we're sacrificing this moment for the sake of arriving in the next moment, for the sake of arriving a better tomorrow. And this is the entire world. Almost all living beings are living in that fashion, living in that way, trying to get somewhere, trying to become a someone with something that is supposed to happen later. That is okay. It is one way of living. It is one aspect of living, we can say. But there's also another aspect of living, and if that is neglected and overlooked, we will never really live. So let's have a look at what it really means to live for the future rather than for life. Living for the future implies that happiness is later. Fulfillment happens later. And that, of course, will be the case even in 20 years from now, or 10 years from now. Let's say in 10 years' time, you will still live for the future, because we are living for the next moment. And this is this habit of the mind. The mind continuously tries to avoid looking at itself. It tries to avoid this moment. It tries to avoid what is. In other words, it tries to avoid truth. And so it creates this story that true fulfillment and real life happens later. And we get that very often at our retreats, actually, that people are talking about real life always in the sense of what happens after the retreat, what happens later. Some of you might still remember. So when we are talking about real life in terms of something that will happen, then we're actually not talking about real life, but we are just thinking. It is actually just thinking. It is a fiction in our mind. That's actually all we can ever do. We can only ever think about the future. We cannot experience the future directly. The only thing that you can actually experience is this moment, the truth of the way it is. How you feel right now, what you hear or see right now, that is actually there. What happens in 10 minutes, how you will feel in 10 minutes, this is something that we can only speculate about. We cannot actually experience it directly. There is a purpose for thinking about the future and planning. We all need to plan. We need to have visions and goals. We need to have ambition in our life. I've discussed that many times already before. I'm not denying the fact that we have to plan and that we have to be active, and we have to move forward towards a better future and do the right things now, so the results of our actions will create a more sustainable community or a better world. That is, of course, true. But there's something that is also true, and it is, you can say, even truer or more real, more actual than all the thoughts you could ever have about a better future, which is this very moment, right now, right here. in all its simplicity. And how do you access that moment? Well, you access it by feeling your body, for example, right now, or noticing the sounds that are there right now. You can do it right now. Just feel your body. What kind of feeling in your body do you feel strongest? Do you feel your legs, your arms, or your hands, your chest, your breath, or your belly? And as you're feeling, you slowly notice that the attention goes from the head, from your thoughts, from the realm of thought and time, into this moment. Feeling your body, feeling what is, feeling life. And this is something that is unfortunately very overlooked, particularly in modern society. We are overlooking life for the sake of entertainment. We're overlooking life for the sake of getting to live later. And of course, like this, we will never arrive. We will never enjoy lasting satisfaction. And we are kind of a slave in that spinning wheel of time, always running somewhere, running towards something. We're completely misunderstanding, we're not seeing ourselves. We're not seeing life. We're not feeling it, we're not accessing it. And life has an incredible power. For example, great people like Einstein, they were basing their entire research on the feeling of this moment, on being fully in this moment, and to abandon thought, to abandon the time-creating machine of thinking. Some of the greatest insights that have arisen throughout the history of humankind came out of that inner stillness, out of the ability to stop the racing mind and to have a glimpse beyond word into what is. And this is where your power really lies. This is your center. And if you can operate from that center, you can allow this centeredness, this inner calmness to flow into your life, to enrich your life with quality. Rather than being like someone that wears tight, tiny shoes for a long time because it is so comfortable taking them off after a long walk, you'll be like someone that takes every step in a comfortable shoe. And if you are comfortable with every step on the way, then the result of your journey is much more likely to be fulfilling because you're already fulfilled. So you're operating from an entirely different perspective, the perspective of being already here. You're not feeling as if you were someone that is going somewhere in order to get something so that someone can be more of a someone later. But you feel more like you're already here. You can also say in some religions, like in Christianity, for example, or also in Hinduism, very often it's this emphasis on I am, which is a direct gateway to this moment. It is an invitation to truth, invitation to life, this sense of I amness, the feeling of being. And if we continuously overlook this feeling of being, then of course we will never have an experience of being. We will always and only have an experience of chasing, of running after. And living our life like this will leave us restless, unfulfilled, and in a perpetual state of stress. But living your life by being fully here with life, by appreciating life, by opening up your awareness to what is, to taste and discover truth, empowers your life, not only the journey, but also this very moment. So this is all that comes to mind for this week about the topic of living for the future, or being a slave of the future, versus living in the now as this moment. I hope you will have a great next week. This is talking about the future. I wish for you guys to experience a fantastic next week, full of present moment steps, full of quality. And you can start with it right now, right here. Thank you very much for listening, and see you again next Wednesday. Bye-bye.